I'm still drinking my cold. I've been obsessed with this vanilla sweet cream cold brew. Just a splash of sweet cream with sugar-free vanilla. I've been obsessed with it. So good.
You could make that in your blender, the vanilla sweet cream.
Oh, really?
I'll send it to you after the show.
Okay. No, look, I'm always looking for. Oh, I do remember you making something. I do remember this now. Yes.
You
Mr. Pizzo, good
Mark,
morning.
hello. Good morning.
Good
Good
morning. Good
morning.
morning.
Jason, can you believe we are less than a month away from the adventure?
Yeah. So this isn't a topic on the show, but we could discuss it in the pre-show. Royal Caribbean. I assume you got the email I sent you, and basically Royal just said we were going to announce what it's going to be like last week.
I almost just wish they wouldn't have announced even that. Like that email I felt like was a lot of extra stress that just was not needed.
Look, I think what they should do is like it's that old like under promise over deliver, right?
Yes.
Just tell us
Just
no
tell me what
club.
it is.
Right, no club. We're gonna have to wear a mask everywhere, and then like right before it, be like, guess what?
JK.
So, right. So I do.
Hello,
So
Tom.
hello, everybody. I do think the CDC. People are like, why does the CDC have any say in what's happening in like St. Martin or Athens or the Bahamas? And the answer is they don't. But I think the cruise lines are trying to follow the CDC guidelines and basically say, look, we're sailing out of the Bahamas and St. Martin or Athens.
Oh, absolutely. It's a continuity and a consistency thing for sure. Hi,
Right.
Jay. Let's hear Jay, Jason, Randy, Cindy.
Good morning,
Morning,
everybody.
everybody. We are just chit-chatting about cruising here a little bit. I'm still super indecisive and can't finish making up my summer travel, but now I have a couple actual work trips. So coordinating around those so my dogs don't hate me is the other portion of this. Pam, good morning. Jason, still locked down in Canada. Jason, which province are you in? Because they were protesting in Ontario not too long ago.
Were they really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ontario especially is such a tourism dependent province compared to some of the others, because you have Niagara Falls, you have Toronto, and plus they all like coming across the border and going to Walmart. It's a big thing.
You mean the wildlings coming down past the wall, south of the wall?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They love to come shop over here.
Yeah, I'm in Niagara Falls since I was a freshman in high school. We went to Toronto with a band trip when I was in 9th grade.
Manitoba. Okay, Jason. Yeah, what's so funny is I live 45 minutes from an international border. It doesn't feel like it. Like whenever I've had friends come up, they're like, "Oh, I want to go to Niagara Falls and stuff." I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay, whatever."
I get it.
It's literally 45 minutes from my door. It's like an actual international border. Like it doesn't feel like that. Josh, good morning.
Good morning, Josh.
Liddy, welcome. We have so many topics today, guys, just so you know.
We have a lot. So this is a unofficial travel hack. Remember, guys, if you're sailing on one of those summer sailings, make sure to check your prices, because if the price has gone down, even though that's after final payment, at least with a Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, you can get the price difference as onboard credit.
That is fantastic. I love that. I love that little hack.
Yeah, Mr. Josh, I don't think he minds me telling you this. Got just a heck of a price drop. And so now he's walking on the adventure with a lot of onboard credit. So, yes.
That is amazing.
Check your prices. It takes 2 seconds.
Pam,
no, I've checked our room, Pam. Our rooms are more expensive now than what we paid. So don't worry. We have the best rate on those.
And and speaking of travel hacks, Jason, since we haven't started yet, we got 3 more minutes. I have started dabbling into the world of travel and points hacks on my travel blog. I launched my first video yesterday.
That Hawaii tip was good.
It was mind blowing. Like, I literally
Good.
this hotel that was $3,400, and between credit card points and Marriott's 30% off buying their points, brought it down to like $1,000.
Yeah, no, that
Like,
was great.
I was telling people, Maui is one of the most expensive lodging destinations in the world. Like, it has some of the highest ADR.
Oh, I quoted Maui for someone yesterday, and they replied back and were like, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
Like,
if you're looking to do Hawaii and more of a budget, Maui's not the island unless you
no,
hack it, like I put on YouTube and Instagram yesterday. Like, it is the most expensive. It has like it's top 5 for ADR for the whole world all the time.
yeah,
Like, it's obnoxiously expensive, but I think there's a lot more that we can do with the credit cards. I mean, you even mentioned it with, Celebrity and the American Express Platinum card with that extra
yeah, right,
OBC. Like,
right.
there's so much you can do. And I don't know if you guys knew it, but did you know if you use points for Marriott when you stay 5 nights, you get the 5th night free in points?
I'm not a big Marriott guy. I didn't know that, so thanks for telling me.
But I mean, still though, I mean, your
Right,
clients, I'm just spreading the word here. But
love it.
there's so many little things that people forget. Let's see. It's always a tough timeshare get to. Yep. Maui's tough. Using points for Baja Mar and miles for airfare. Such a great thing. I agree, Josh. I agree. Hi,
Yes,
Bill. Welcome, welcome. We're almost there, Jason. We're almost at the top of the hour.
awesome.
Got to drop for my 11 a.m. meeting. Well, Bill, just so you know, your question was actually mine and Jason's question of the day that we were going to talk about anyway. So, Angela, good morning.
All right. Well, it is 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. Let's do this. Good morning, everybody. I am Jason Poole with Cruise Planners and American Express Travel Advisor. I specialize in all things cruising, all things land resorts, and I just love, love, love planning European land vacations. My better half, how are you doing?
I call you my better half.
We all know who the real better half is.
Well, we know it's not Jeff. So my name is Haley. I've been in hotels for 14 years. I own a hotel sales support company called Hospitality with a Flair, and I'm a travel blogger. I pretty much love travel in almost all its forms, and my bestie across the aisle here has even pushed my desire for more luxurious trips up even further. I didn't even know that was possible, but
It
alas,
happened.
here we are. We're here every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I said that right because you and I mess this up every week. Super excited. So we're going to go over the agenda here quickly. It's the same agenda every week. We're going to cover the hot travel topics, list of countries you can travel to. We have 2 different questions of the day. One is more of a from us, and the other is from one of you guys in our Today in Travel group. And then we discuss topics for next week. If you are looking to join one of our impromptu interactive what would you call them? After hours meetings.
Yes.
We chat a little bit more. It's a little less professional setup than this. Make sure you join that Today in Travel group because we usually give a little breadcrumb as to when it's going to be.
I mean, it's fun. We don't do it often. It's more martinis than cold brew after hours.
Or just a whole bottle of champagne.
That was one of those times. Yes. All right, guys. So let's dig into the news. So Margaritaville is coming to Key West. I was shocked it wasn't already here.
That was literally my first reaction to this article. I was like,
there isn't one already.
Shouldn't that have been like the first one?
I am shocked. So
but they are running rampant, Jason. Like I am seeing Margaritaville like pop up everywhere. And didn't one of your coworkers just go?
Yeah. So my colleague Kathy just took a group of her clients down to the Margaritaville in Cancun, and I was blown away. I mean, it looked truly beautiful. So I'm hoping. So this isn't a new hotel in Key West. They're reflagging a property. So they're doing a major renovation. I think it's going to do a $3 million enhancement project. So they just got done doing an $18 million renovation of this property. So I'm hoping by the time Margaritaville jumps in and takes it over, it's going to just blow us away. So stay tuned for more details on the
Do you remember which
property.
hotel it took over? For some reason, I'm blanking.
The Barbary, I think that's how you pronounce it, beach house.
Yeah, I can remember. There's been a lot of hotel brands that have done that. Hilton's even done that with a couple properties down there. I think they have a new Tapestry down there. They took over something. So I think we're going to see that shift because Key West has always been known for a very laid back style lodge. I mean, you have the Waldorf there, but I mean, the Waldorf's even pretty dated. So I think you're going to see a bit more modernized, laid back come into this market, which I think is super exciting. All right, Jason.
So people keep asking me about Alaska. What's happening? So the United States Senate unanimously passed a bill that would allow cruise ships to forego visiting a Canadian port for Alaska. So like I said, it passed unanimously in the Senate. For those non-Americans, this will have to go through the House of Representatives, and the president has to sign it. I anticipate it will be passed into law, but I just don't think there's going to be enough time for it to matter this year. I mean, the latest Alaskan cruise is in like October on like a Norwegian ship.
And it's like the first week of October. I feel like it doesn't go very late. And I mean,
it starts to get cold.
But this is American politics at its finest, just taking a long time. It's not.
It is.
It's not going to matter. And I mean, that kind of trip requires a decent amount of planning.
It does. And I just cannot imagine planning all your tours, excursions, flights. I mean, planning an Alaskan trip it's expensive and it's a lot of planning. And just to have it take, the advice I'm giving my clients is, you're going to do Alaska, let's start planning 2022 right now.
Oh, absolutely. And I think what people don't realize, this is not one of those destinations where you can wing it. It's not like, oh, I'm going to get off in Nassau. I'm going to go over, to the fish fry shack. I'm going to just take a taxi to Paradise. That's not it. A lot of these towns that you port in are small. Like I've been there. Like
you get off the ship, like you have to have something planned.
Yeah, you have to have something planned because there's not a whole lot to do in those town centers generally aside from the shopping. Like if you're going to want to go do the dog sled glacier thing, you got to get picked up, taken by helicopter up to a glacier to go dog sled on. Like this isn't something where you can just go walk to a beach. It's a lot more of a logistics heavy itinerary. So I think that's very sad that it's taken this long, but I mean, we've had more pressing issues for our politicians to work on. So but I wouldn't bank on it. That's just me though.
So let's talk about Europe for a little bit. So Italy has lifted some of the restrictions and given us some clarification, or the requirements, I should say, to get into the country. So you have to have proof of a negative COVID test before you go.
48 hours, I believe, right?
48 hours, yep. And then you have to, once you get there, you have to take another COVID test within 48 hours.
And this is regardless of your vaccine status either.
Correct. So I think that's great news. My only fear with these type of requirements are there's a handful of people who are testing positive who have had the vaccine. So like Bill Maher tested positive. There were like 7 or 8 Yankees players that tested positive after getting the vaccine. So before my cruises, I'm kind of thinking I might kind of lay low for a week or so.
Absolutely. That's my game plan.
Just in case. And it's extremely rare. But so Italy, test before, test when you get there. Exciting news out of Italy.
So what do you think this means for European sailings, I know we had a question in the comments section, and it kind of ties in with this. What are your thoughts? I mean, I personally think Europe is more of a possibility as these countries are starting to open up. I think it's going to be strict, but we've already seen some of the ports are ready to go, like Cyprus, Athens.
No, I mean I'm going to Europe later this summer, and I'm really excited about it. I think the Europe season is gonna happen, especially on like the seven. Like the UK is doing Scarlet Lady, and Royals doing Anthem, and Celebrities doing Silhouette.
Disney's doing the Magic out of the UK.
Right, so it's UK citizens only. So sad that I'd love to go, but I can't. But like the the Apex out of Athens, like I mean, it's going, like it's a go. So I would absolutely, make sure your passport's good to go. Check the requirements. And
do you think MSC is going to open up to non-Italian citizens for the summer? Just curious.
I don't think that's not an MSC decision. I think that's more of an Italian decision.
Okay.
Or it's an Italy decision, not an Italian decision. So, so speaking of Disney, Disney has canceled July sailings for its 3 ships. We kind of saw this coming. Carnival still thinks they're going to sail in early July out of Galveston. Norwegian has said there's no way for us to sail out of the United States in July. Royal Caribbean hasn't said anything. And so Royal Caribbean still has July sailings open to be booked out of America in July. I'm advising all of my clients, if you want to cruise in July, let's look at one of those, Celebrity Millennium out of St. Martin, Adventure of the Seas out of the Bahamas, like Celebrity Apex out of Greece. Like I wouldn't book a July. August, I think, is starting to look more likely out of America. I do. I think August is
I think your bet was like mid-August. I said early September. So
somewhere around there, I really think we'll start seeing. We're expected to get some guidance from the CDC this week. And each week, their updated guidance continues to be a little bit more lax. So hopefully this week brings us some good news.
Yeah, I think that's going to lead into the question of the day that you and I are going to end up talking about that has to do with this particular slide.
Yes.
And I mean, Disney World is no masks outside. I think a lot of people that are going during the summer months are going to be very happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's
about
so
this.
hot.
I mean, I couldn't imagine with how humid it is.
No, and keep in mind, guys, this is just Disney World in Florida, not Disneyland. So California is keeping its mask mandate statewide through mid-June. So that's a state thing in California. So I would assume Disneyland will end it around June, but right now, no mask outdoors in Disney World. So you have to wear them when you go inside any venue.
I'm totally okay with that. Question, Jason, because I did see it in here and it kind of pertains to that. If you have travel insurance and you go on a cruise, you go here and you test positive, before you're supposed to go and you're not allowed to board a plane or you have to quarantine, is that covered?
Yes.
Good to know.
It is. And it's also covered. Your insurance will kick in if you test positive at the end of the cruise and aren't allowed to fly back into the United States and have to do lodging in St. Martin or do lodging at the Bahamas, that your travel insurance will kick in as well.
Do you know, I think it was so funny related to the Disney thing before we hop on this one? I saw videos of literally when that was announced that neither are people like taking TikTok videos and stuff of all the workers going around Disney like that had to rip down the signs. They're like, it was just like at midnight, it was like bibbity bobbity boo, it was gone. I mean, all those COVID signs were just down.
Yes. No, love it.
Everybody's ready. This was a beautiful ship. I'm just going to say that.
This is. So Norwegian announced the brand new ship Prima, first it's a new class of ship for Norwegian. It looks absolutely beautiful. And they are really stepping up the game for their suite experience, which is the Haven. More suites, private elevators for Haven passengers, more suites than on any of their other past ships. They have the largest 3-bedroom suite at sea.
Huh.
Just so many updates to the Haven. I mean, Norwegian is really stepping up the game when it comes to the suite experience, especially in that kind of family-friendly mass market cruise line segment. So exciting news.
Have you noticed that a lot of these newer ships are starting to feature these pools on the back deck?
Yeah, so MSC has done that for some time now, and I think it's, I mean, it's going to get so crowded, but I mean the MSC one is, so the MSC ones, a lot of theirs run the yacht club, you know, their suite only area. So the pool at the back of the ship, kind of that infinity pool, you know, the glass at the back overlooking, that's only going to be
I
in the
think
Haven.
I think it's beautiful. Well, then
I think it's
Disney just
morning.
announced it on the Wish too. You have the adults only
Hmm.
section in the back. I'm a huge fan, but this ship looks beautiful. I've never personally sailed NCL, pardon me, but this is
The,
when I have like my family cruise. Like I think if I was looking for adult only, I'd still kind of lean towards celebrity for that sweet experience or
oh,
treat. But man, if I have to
absolutely.
go on a cruise with my daughter, I could be swayed.
Oh, look, I mean,
This
it's just
looks
all about what you
beautiful.
want, right? I mean, even though the Haven's amazing, you're still on a ship with, you know, 1,500 kids. But if you're bringing kids, like your kids would love it. It'd be great.
Absolutely. So this is our last topic.
Yeah. So
That was short-lived.
this isn't a big surprise. So poor Odyssey was supposed to have the inaugural out of Europe, and then they moved it to Israel. And when they announced Israel, a lot of people were like, really? Okay.
What? Okay.
Well, if you are living under a rock and know what's going on, there is lots of unrest, a borderline war happening in the Middle East. So, Royal Caribbean, for the safety of its crew, the ship, and most importantly, the guest, they are canceling all of those sailings out of Israel. The Odyssey of the Seas dropped off some crew members on the Anthem out of UK and is now sailing back to Florida. Michael Bailey, the CEO of Royal Caribbean, kind of hinted at a earlier Florida inaugural season. So we're stay tuned to what's going to happen with the Odyssey. So I would imagine it will be sailing out of Florida before November, but
Jason,
we will wait.
why do you think they didn't move her to a different port like Cyprus or Athens?
I don't think there's enough time to start to like sell the cabins.
Mm.
Um, I mean, I guess you could have swapped her out with the Jewel, but there's just not enough time to like put cabins up and have people book them, and you know, but it takes months and months and months to have cabins open for the ship to, you know, to sell.
Can you imagine if you got that email? It's like, okay, we're gonna swap out the Odyssey for the Jewel.
That would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing.
So I'm super excited to say that we have an update on this slide. So Italy
Finally,
has been added to the 48 hours prior. There's probably going to be another update coming once we have the official set for Spain, but we have them under the 48 hours requirements. So I was super excited. So that also means that we have an update to this one. So Spain is going to really look into that passport. It's going to get announced any day now because they want it fully opened for June. So anytime now, but they're looking to do kind of that green passport partnered more with the EU versus being like Italy or Greece that's like, I'm going to forge my own path. But
right.
that is the goal. So, Jason, our question of the day, I know that Bill mentioned this and I just took
Yep.
his information. I was trying to figure out how to word it. Now that Disney World and other destinations have announced maskless policies, how does that impact everyone's comfortability around upcoming travel, in your opinion?
I mean, your own health has to be your own personal decision. There are some people that are waiting for this to be completely past us before they want to travel. And if that's your philosophy, that's your mindset, that's your, you know, your headspace, that's totally on you. You won't travel for years and years to come. COVID-19 is going to be in the news with us for years and years and years to come, because unfortunately there's a lot of people who just are not getting the vaccine for whatever reason. So I refuse to have my life put on hold because there's people who doubt the science of the vaccine. Those people are going to catch COVID, they're going to get sick, and some of them are going to die. It's awful. I hate it. I wish everyone would get the vaccine. I am ready to travel. We've already traveled. We went to Mexico, had a great time.
Yeah.
We passed our negative COVID test when we came home, and surprisingly, so we had a great time. So I would encourage everybody, if you want to travel, you got to get the vaccine, right? You've got to get the vaccine. Mask mandates are being lifted. So, I mean, COVID's still flying out there, but the vaccine is the only way to normalcy. And I do feel protected traveling domestically and internationally with the vaccine.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think it's here to stay. It's viral. And
Yeah.
it's a viral thing. It's going to mutate. That's why there's so many different forms of the flu. You and I have had this discussion. My uncle, he's retired now, was the head of Pfizer's animal division.
Yep.
And COVID, there's actually a natural strain of COVID in chickens, but this is the first strain of COVID that's affected humans in this way.
Right.
And that was the question mark. So it's not going to go away. It's going to mutate. There's going to be boosters. And if you want to travel, that is your decision. You got to follow the rules. If you don't want to travel, you don't feel safe, you stay home.
Yeah, I agree.
I think some people may, conceive this as being reckless, but if you have a highly concentrated group of mainly vaccinated people in an outdoor setting where you're naturally distanced and it's 95 degrees outside with 80% humidity, makes sense.
I agree. No.
So, Jason, I'm so excited about this travel tip of the day because I did not know this. You blew my mind, and I'm just like,
yeah,
my money.
So I was looking at my one of my celebrity cruises this summer. I already have the premium drink package for my room. For my July sailing, I'm already in a sky suite, so it comes with the drink package. Well, so if you have the premium drink package, you can upgrade your package for $9 per person per day, and you get 2 bottles of wine per person in the stateroom. You get $50 of free casino play per person. You get a wine tasting experience, and they restock your minibar every day. I think for $9 a day, that is a no-brainer. So I was super excited about that. You can do it through the cruise planner on Celebrity Cruises website. I think it's a steal, and will be upgrading all of my celebrity packages for the $9 per person per day.
For me, that is it's a no-brainer because, I think with people maybe wanted to distance themselves a little bit more, but I've always just wanted to sit on my balcony for a bit. I paid for this balcony. I want to chill out on it and have a drink. So I love this. So Jason, can you purchase this once you get on board, or is this a pre-cruise purchase only?
That is a great question. I think it's only at the discount, but I could be wrong. Like I said, I just saw it. It just rolled out. None of us have been in a celebrity cruise in a while to see if they're offering it on board, but I think it's pre-cruise only.
So in the cruise planner for celebrity, like I said, it's been a hot minute. I feel like that old lady on Titanic, it's been 84 years.
Right.
But can you use your OBC to purchase it?
Yes. Absolutely, you can.
Perfect. Awesome. So, Captain Rehab, you'll have to go back to earlier in the broadcast. We did talk about this a little bit.
We did.
Jason's done crushing dreams for today.
I am. Okay, this is a great question.
I love this. And we actually did 2 of them because I couldn't pick.
Oh, that's fair. Okay. Go ahead.
All right. So Pam asks, what should we do before we travel internationally in regards to credit card safety and cell phone roaming? I know for me on the credit card portion, I usually bring 2 to 3 cards with me. I bring my Amex and I bring my MasterCard because sometimes Amex is not always taken. And when I'm out and about, I will usually lock one in the safe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Same.
And bring one out and about with me. And then in regards to the cell phone roaming, I don't think Jarvis is in here, but this is one of the reasons that I stay with AT&T because
Same.
AT&T has a really great international plan. It is $10 a day and it's unlimited everything.
Unlimited calls, unlimited data.
And it's wonderful.
$10 a day, no cap. So I love it when I travel. It's just easy, $10 a day. You do have to go in and add that service on your account. It's free, and you only get charged when you use it. So I love that. I mean, Verizon does have something similar. I think it also is $10 a day, but there is like a data cap. So if you have Verizon, that's it. It's per phone, $10 a day. And credit cards that I do the same thing. I usually bring like 2 Amexes and a backup Visa, leave one Amex in the safe, bring a Visa and an Amex with me, and never a problem there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't even really have to let them know you're traveling. I mean, you can call and still put on that travel thing. But anytime I've called recently for my Capital One or my American Express, I'm just told you don't need to let us know if you're traveling.
So people don't know this, but when you look at your credit card charge for your flight, if you click like the expand button and see like the full details of the transaction, all your flight information is on the transaction. So that's how companies like American Express know when you're traveling. They literally can read the text of the charge. All of it's there.
And Pam, to answer your question, it is per phone.
Per phone.
Per device, per day. So when I went to Italy, my husband didn't use his phone as much. Like we would take my phone out and about because obviously I was broadcasting and doing whichever. And plus you're on vacation, you don't need that many devices on it. And if you are working, you could actually write that off as a business expense.
That's true. So great question, Pam.
Great question. We have one more, and this is a fun one.
It is a fun one.
Mark asked, what place have you visited were you unexpectedly surprised by and in contrast most disappointed? So for me, the destination that really surprised me was Rome. Like I was excited to go to Rome and see the Colosseum, see all these things. But I did not expect to like fall in love with Rome. And I think it's partially because of where I stayed in that Campo di Fiore area. I loved it. Rome's not a destination I would necessarily spend a weekend, but I have that hankering to go back to Italy. I'm like, I want to spend 3 nights in Rome and then go off on the coast somewhere for a week. What about you?
Hold on. Where did you go that you were a little disappointed?
So it's kind of a tie. And that is until I fully finish vetting Hawaii. But Hawaii, I was a little underwhelmed except for like Kona and Hilo.
Okay.
It wasn't what I was expecting. And then the tie is actually with Florence. So
Okay.
I was really excited to go to Florence. I love that whole Renaissance Medici history, the art, and it's beautiful. But for me, I didn't find the people quite as friendly as in other parts of Italy. It felt very gimmicky in lots of parts of it. I can't explain it. And I think parts of it were dirty too. Like when you see the Duomo, like for some of my pictures, it's beautiful, but when you're up close, it's like they need to wash this thing. Like there's like soot and stuff. Like I don't know. It just wasn't as clean as other areas. If I would go back, but maybe for a day trip, I wouldn't stay in Florence. I'd probably look somewhere else in Tuscany, like Siena or something like that.
So my disappointment, I have 2 as well. I kind of mirror to that about Hawaii. I didn't love Hawaii. It was fine. I didn't love it. The biggest disappointment I've been is Athens.
Ooh.
I just didn't love Athens. The historical sites were amazing, but I just thought it just wasn't as impressive as I was expecting. I'm going to Athens in August and spending just one night pre-cruise in Athens. Like getting there, checking in the hotel, wake up the next morning, do the touristy stuff, and just getting on the ship. So Athens, one of my favorite places that I was surprised by. I think I might say Sicily.
Really?
But I almost said Mykonos, but it was about what I expected, right? It was beautiful. I mean, I loved it, but I wasn't expecting Sicily, especially like Taormina, to be as beautiful as it was. So I think I'm gonna say Sicily. It was truly, truly stunning.
Oh, that's amazing. So Kathleen says, did you compare Hawaii with the Caribbean? And I think that's one of the jokes that I made. So I think aesthetically, if you're looking for that Hawaii vibe in the Caribbean, you kind of got to look at like St. Lucia or Dominica.
Oh yeah, St.
Um,
Lucia has that lush Hawaii
and
feel.
I kind of made the joke to Jason that like I could fly to one of those places cheaper, less jet lag, and get a
Yeah.
similar experience. And now keep in mind, I am looking, I haven't officially pulled the trigger. I'm looking to take Olivia to Hawaii at the end of August and do more of a land vet before I fully, I don't want to say cross it off my list, but give my official opinion because I felt like I was so jet lagged because I was in Europe 4 days prior from coming over, and there are a lot of factors. But I mean, overall, off of that first appearance, I was just like, man, I can go to the Caribbean and get a very similar experience for half the price.
Yeah. So no, I agree. And I think someone like Kathleen, a West Coaster, Hawaii makes a little bit more sense.
Yes.
But for me, I can literally get to Europe more easily than I can get to Hawaii.
Oh, yeah. And
So
if you gave me that choice between Europe and Hawaii, I would pick Europe every single
I
time.
would too. I would too. I would do Europe over Hawaii. I agree. No question about it. So, well, guys, that was a lot of fun. We covered a ton of topics. If you were late to the game, there was some question about stuff we watched earlier. The replay will be on Haps, Facebook Live, Haley's YouTube page. So we do this every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Central Time. But join our Facebook group. It is todayintravel.live. We've got a great community there. And maybe one day, the next week or two, Haley and I will do another one of those evening cocktail hour informal Q&A sessions.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'm surprised we didn't go over with all the topics, but
We're getting good at this. All right, guys.
All right, guys.